Okay, so in today's episode, we're talking about you've got people signed up for your next live event. You've got butts in seats, but the event doesn't exist yet, and you've never done one before. What do you do? How do there's these gurus that talk about, oh, you gotta add value and over deliver, and who knows what the heck that means. So how do you over deliver without overwhelming your attendees as well as overwhelming yourself?
Mm.
Nettie and I are going to get into this today. We have done, oh my gosh, dozens and dozens at least of retreats between the two of us. And we've also done retreats together and events live together. So we've got some things to share, right, Nettie?
Oh, yes, definitely. And adding into that, just a lot of speaking engagements where we've attended other events or where we've delivered just a shorter workshop. So we totally get that process from, creating the idea of the event, marketing it, filling it, creating the event, delivering the event, following up on it, all of the parts, whether this is a paid speaking engagement, a complimentary, a workshop, a retreat, whatever it is, like we have done it.
Done it all. Yes.
Done it all. Yeah. Okay. Actually, you know what? I don't think either of us have delivered to a stadium of 10,000 people
Yet.
yet. Anyone who has a speaking gig coming up or you need some outstanding presenters for your event that fills a stadium with 10,000 people, give us a call. We want
Yeah,
to add
my
it to our list.
max, I think my max audience has been between 500 people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been my experience. But by the way, who are you? What do you do? Who are we? What
Wait a
are
minute.
what?
Oh, and we announced last time, so if you've been following us along, we announced the new name, which I'm gonna share with you today. You'll hear it as we introduce. We're just getting used to it. So, Wake Up Women Leaders. This is our next episode. I am your co-host, Nettie Owens, with the Sapari Group, where I help entrepreneurial and executive women create their leadership identity, create their system of success so that they can reach their goals sustainably without sacrificing their health. And I talk about these things in my programs, as well as we've just mentioned, through speaking events, through curated programs that I've delivered with Victoria and otherwise.
Yay. Amazing. And where can they find you, by the way?
You can go to LinkedIn or saparigroup.com.
Yay. Perfect. Fabulous. For yours truly, I'm Sensei Victoria Whitfield, founder of strategicmeditation.com, where I help impact-driven entrepreneurs and leaders get and stay grounded and clear in mind, body, and business. How I do that is pairing holistic techniques such as meditation, Reiki, mindfulness with coaching and leadership practices such as vision work, planning, getting your think differently days together. People come to me for VIP days and personal retreats to really project and see a new vision for themselves in the future. Love doing that. 16 years and counting. Published author of Natural Intuition Now, available on Amazon. And with that, I'll be complete.
I
Yay.
love the think differently days. I think that's such a great way to describe spending a day, a half day or a day with you, which people can do. if they come to your programs. So let's jump in here about, you've got people coming to your program, which is great. So if you're listening to this and maybe you've done some events before, maybe you've got something new coming out, or maybe this is your first time kind of like dipping your toe into it, and you heard that the difficult part was getting people to attend. So you put all your attention there. You're like, let me focus on getting people to attend. But then people signed up. Yay! Go you. You've got people coming to your event, but that event doesn't exist yet. So what do you do? How do you create something that, as Victoria said, over delivers, but doesn't burn you out, so that people want to come back for more? Yeah. Um,
Mhm.
we've shared a
Yeah.
lot of stories in these past several sessions here, and today will be no different. I want to start us off a little bit looking at the flip side. So let's say you don't, you get people coming and you don't make a clear, cohesive plan. What is the risk, Victoria, of delivering like an event that's not well organized, or that doesn't have a clear agenda, or any, like, what do you run the risk of? Kind of positioning, like, why is planning your event important?
Yeah. So, you know how they say in business it takes money to make money? I would say the biggest risk is loss of time, money, and energy that you invested to bring everyone and everything together. It costs money to get people into the room. It costs money to get the room. It costs
Mm,
money to put stuff in the room for people to interact with, yourself included.
mhm,
It costs money to give, to like have the level of expertise that you have that has magnetized people into the room, or even if you may not be the only expert present, it costs. It costs to deliver an event, whether you're
mhm,
spending $1 or 100,000 to put the event on. And so I would say the biggest downfall of not having a well-run event that people are like, wow, that was so valuable. Oh, when's the next one? I got to get my ticket as soon as possible, or I got to bring all my friends to this next one. This was life changing. This was amazing. I love this. It's a way of life for me. The cost is that you just wasted your own investment into putting the event together.
mm.
Yeah.
I think it actually goes even further than that. As you just said, if somebody doesn't say, "I wanna come back," and they don't say, "I wanna invite my friends," um, the opposite could be equally true, where they tell their friends, "You know what? I don't trust them. I mean, they couldn't pull this off. It was a waste of my time." Oh my gosh, death toll, right? Right? Do not want people to say that spending time with you was a waste of their time. If they had to get a hotel, take the day off from their work or out of their business, spend money to be there, and you do not deliver as promised, then that is going to bring you down. You get negative reviews, you get people who don't show up, they don't buy the next thing that you're offering. Like, it could be not just the lost investment, but a negative effect that loses you work and business going forward. So, not to put too much pressure on here, because both of us we love to deliver events. We love to help people have that transformative experience that can happen, connection, raised energy level, all that kind of stuff. But you have to spend time crafting an event that is going to deliver, so that you don't waste the money you invested, and you don't waste the opportunity, and you ensure that you're going to have business afterwards. And one more thing, something that we're not talking about today, but is really important, is the follow-up. So
Yeah.
we've talked a little bit about, what happens if you plan an event that nobody shows up for. And we're talking today about, getting people signed up, but not having the event together yet. We're going to talk soon about getting butts in seats. And we will also talk in the future about the follow-up and why that is absolutely critical.
Yeah, 100%. And so to the point of, okay, where we're at in this conversation of, all right, we have the people, we have the intent to gather, but lacking essentially content. From my experience in the past, what I thought I was supposed to do, and I've talked about this in a previous episode, is I thought I was supposed to come with my identity as a teacher. Remember, the
Mhm.
word sensei means teacher in Japanese. And so that's my training. That's my identity. Um, and the what I used to do in the past was, in order to over deliver, I'm going to teach them everything I know. I'm going to tell them everything I've learned about the topic of the day. And I would have PowerPoints that were full of like, not just content, I'm talking words, so it look like the page of a book, my PowerPoints, and put up on screen. And my mouth would be getting dry trying to run through all of the content on these slides. And basically people would be overwhelmed by this fire hose of information. And then on top of that, of the slide, I would be reading it and thinking of another thing. I was like, oh yeah, and that actually you could also do blah blah blah. And so I'm like fire hosing people. And although I look like an expert to the audience member, they're basically melting into the chair,
Checking their email.
checking their email,
Taking
suddenly
pictures of the slides.
wanting to, oh yeah, taking pictures of slides instead of coming and talking to me. Like their minds are starting to wander
Mhm.
because what I was doing as the teacher mindset is I was making it about me. I
Mm.
was making the event of everyone's in the room here about learning. Here's what I know about this subject. At them. Whereas now I've learned, thank goodness, and that's why my people come back. Like, I've had people who've competed to see, oh, I went to 20 of Victoria's retreats in a row. How many have you been to? Right. And the reason for the shift of, rather than fire hosing people and overwhelming them where they're just like, ah, oh, my brain hurts. That was kind of stressful coming to this event.
Mm.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
feel really good. Uh, Instead, them feeling like, oh, I want more, is because I've made it about the attendee and putting the spotlight on the attendee, structuring the content and the flow of the day to bring the attendee out and get them to engage, not only engage with themselves and the content, but also each other, whether we're
Mm.
in person or online. Getting that engagement and pulling people out is the name of the game. What do you say, Nettie? Would you agree, or what have you seen?
Yeah, yeah. I think something that shifted for me, I took a class on speaking, a while ago. Let's just put it that it was over 10 years ago. And
Yes.
and they talked about, basically speaking from an outline as opposed to having your script written out and memorized. In fact, I think they called it like the naked, like speaking naked, right? So that you you can memorize for yourself. Oh, I'm going to do an introduction. These are my objectives. I'm going to make sure I share those, and then I'll expand on them, and then I'll remind them what they were, and we'll review them. So that kind of like, let me just provide a framework and then fit the information in. It really narrowed down how much I shared after that. So instead of thinking I needed, pages and pages of notes and research and things that were going to be shared, I whittled it down significantly to what are the three main things they need to, what's the main thing, and then what are the three things that support that. Um, and an experience is coming to my mind. So you're talking about these slides with like so many different points on them that they just look like a book. I got hired to speak for a professional association and I was stoked. So, people were coming. I didn't have to invite them. It was great. And I had been working on a presentation, but then that I had delivered a number of times, but then I had been creating something new and I got so excited about wanting to share this new thing that I tried to like meld my presentations together. I didn't practice enough, which definitely, shame on me for not doing what I needed to ahead of time. Um, and I blew the timeline out of the water. I'm like, oh, can I just have a few more minutes? And I thought these people were going to be so excited to learn more from me, right? But honestly, I had just overwhelmed them. And they're like, no, you can't have a few more minutes. We have other things to go to. And so I never got to actually help them get to the point of learning. I rushed through everything and they didn't invite me back. And I understand why. I wouldn't have invited me back either. So what we're talking about here is really needing to prepare well, have a clear objective of what your people are going to receive, and make sure that that objective aligns with what you told them. Like, it is going to build trust if you say, in this retreat, at this workshop, at this event, you will learn X, you will receive X, and then everything aligns to make sure that they receive X like in the first hour of the event. Because when you do that, they immediately say, this had value. Everything else that you share is just icing on the cake. But if you can deliver to whatever that event promises, like within the first hour of showing up at that event, then they will say, this was so worth my time. I got this and this, and this. And people will walk away super happy and they will say, when is the next one? I want to come back. They'll tell their friends. And that takes a lot of preparation
Yes.
to simplify down to that kind of delivery.
Yeah, I would agree. And some things that have worked in the past for me in perceiving value as an attendee, as well as me being perceived as a valuable deliverer of events, include number one, giving people the opportunity to share with a neighbor. Where so in the past, I used to just like deliver the content lecture style. And sure, I can be engaging and, exciting to watch and you could laugh, but you're basically watching TV at this point. Whereas if you're at a live event, you're there to be around other people. And as the event host, you've got to honor that that's what's valuable about going to a live event online or in person is creating room for engagement. Introduce yourself, or oh, share something you're celebrating with your neighbor, or let's have a breakout rooms where 1 minute each, you each have blah blah, like bringing people together and creating community is what live events are about. It's not about you looking cute. You already do. Get over yourself in that. It's about people feeling like when they're with you, they are the bomb. It's not about you being the bomb. People come back to your live events the more that you make them feel like they're awesome when they're around you. And the second thing that I would say with that, having people engage with each other, and again, just set the timer, right? 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Change to your name, like change speakers, switch, right? You'll let people know, facilitate their interactions in that way. The other thing is having the grace to let them write. Not only are they there to listen and take in information, but even if it's journaling or if you have like Nettie is the queen of structured worksheets. She will take your whole soul out of your head and put it into a book. Like everything, like you get everything out of people and you make them fill it out. It's amazing how you do that. You're the best in the industry. I always say that and I mean it. And I've seen a lot of people do it crappy. You rock. And so, but that increases perceived value, right? You and I, Nettie, have done multiple events together, and every time we go, some of the feedback from attendees is like the workbook. Oh, I have written out my entire life, or I got so much clarity from writing. Whereas as an event host, I'll feel a bit awkward standing there in the silence for waiting for them to write, but you as the host have got to have enough confidence to either honor the fact that they're just writing in silence for 1, 3, 5 minutes or 20, or set some calm music on so that you feel less all up in yourself about, "Oh, I'm not being valuable." Being actually you are giving people that opportunity to write. Would you agree, Nettie?
Oh my gosh, the word that comes to mind is facilitate. Adult learning, and that's mostly what we're talking about here. I mean, unless you're listening and your audience is young people, which by the way, works for them too. But facilitate adult learners, they chose to be at your event. Nobody forced, well, maybe they were forced by their boss, but they chose to be at your event and and to take things in. So they're primed. They're like ready to receive and and neurologically if you tell them something, it's like it's just going to bounce off their brains, right? You can tell them they might write some facts down, but they're not going to really connect with that information unless they come to the awareness themselves. And so the reason why I'm such a fanatic about workbooks as the way, as well as the sharing that Victoria's talked about, and coming back and expressing what those connections were is because all of it is dialed in to how our brains work to actually put information into our minds. That's why like I'm adamant that if you say your event delivers X, then you have a way of making sure that that result is created for the people who are there. And it doesn't mean that you need, mountains and mountains of things to say. As Victoria said, you might be standing and staring at them, writing for 20 minutes. Or, what I like to do is pretend like I'm that, school teacher and I walk between the tables. How is that going? How are you understanding? Do you have any questions? You can do that in a smaller event. Obviously, a larger event, it's not possible. But knowing what makes adult learning work, not sitting in seats, not sitting in seats is what makes adult learning and other learning work. Means get them up, move them around, have them do like movements while they're talking and learning and change environment, things like that. As I'm saying that, I'm reminded that all of this is premised on the fact that you have created an agenda that moves them through this process. And something else that's super important that's going to make people say, wow, this event was amazing. They'll say, your event was so well organized. Schedule breaks and tell them when they are. Start and end on
Yes.
time. Oh my gosh, make sure you have a timer. Your event starts at this time and it begins at that time. People can trust you when that's true. Make sure that your like registration time gives you enough lead time to catch those people who tend to come a little bit late. You want your event to start at 9. Great, doors open at 8. We do some warm-up things at 8:30. You start your content at 9, so that people can trust the process and you're honoring, your learners who are sitting there, your attendees who are sitting there. Um,
Yeah.
wow, you could take what we've just shared with you and you could plan an outstanding event. But what I want you to really keep in mind is it is not enough to get people to say yes to attending your event. You have to have something worth coming back to, worth attending once and twice, 3 times. You want people to come even if they've been 5 times and say, "I always learn something new," even if it's the same content. That's the kind of thing that you can create. It takes intentionality, and it means that you've spent as much time thinking about your event or more than planning that most adorable outfit, and getting your hair done and your nails and makeup and everything like that. You could probably show up in pajamas, and people would tell you your event was amazing if you do the things that we're talking about today.
I have. I have. The bed and breakfast. We did that for years. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So this is only the tip of the iceberg, right? And so if, as everyone's listening in, you're like, oh, this is my situation right now. I've got all these people and I don't really know how to deliver an awesome event that people want to keep coming back and bring more people to. You know where to find Nettie and I. Do reach out, comment below, connect, and we will reach out in a three-way DM on LinkedIn. We will find you there. Or if you could even put connect and your link, your
Mhm.
LinkedIn URL. Um, that way we could see how we could help, because what I cover is like the energy of the event and
So
engagement,
important.
as well as sales, rocking that out as your master of energy for the event. What Nettie covers for the events is awesome organization, logistics, and structure so that everything is tight and beautiful as it's delivered, right? Before, during, and after. Meow. So good.
I I'm gonna need to put tight and beautiful in my marketing. Thank you, Victoria.
Yes, as advertised.
That's right.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we don't just do this, if your event is you're an entrepreneur and you're creating an event for others that you're gonna sell to, amazing. If you're listening to this and what you're creating is a corporate event, retreat, your annual meeting, we can work with you as well. There are some slight differences, but we've got you. We've got you. Your people are going to be clamoring to come every year if if uh, if you listen to the things that we shared with you today, and if you're stuck, we are so happy to come in and just hear you out. What's going on, and share some insights that can help make it amazing.
Right. Yeah. When you comment that connect, what that's going to get you is a three-way complimentary call where the two of us are going to listen to your story and see if and how we can help, at least getting you clarity on what type of support you may need for your unique situation. So go ahead, book it, comment, connect, and we'll see you on the other side.
Well, the other side, just so you know, obviously spending time with us. But come back next week because
Yes.
we're going to be talking about getting butts in seats. I know there's so much to creating an amazing event. Again, whether you're an entrepreneur or a leader, getting people to show up and getting those people to sign up and register, super super important. So that's what we're going to be talking about next time. And before we go, I'd love if you just drop a comment. What's coming up for you? What are you hearing? What are you learning? Let us know below. We are so excited to hear what you're taking away today.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, pay it forward so that more people have access to this information. With that being said, thanks for joining us today. Bye for now, everyone.